Good morning everybody. Today we have a bit different video upon multiple requests. I will do this video today. Many people ask me about my journey. How did I get into archery? How did this all happen until today with Malta Archery and all of this? So here we go. Sit down, grab some popcorn, might take a while. It's a long story. The beginning, it was 1980. The junior boss of this architectural company I worked with had a Jeep. It was summertime. We drove without roof, so we drove somewhere, and then he said, "Listen, I need to go home to my house quickly." I said, "Yeah, okay. I wait for you." I waited in his garden, and then I saw a target there. Then I asked him, "Listen, what's this about?" And I said, "Yeah, that's for archery." Then he gave me a from Fred Bear, the brown bear compound, but no arrow rest, no sight, no nothing, completely instinctive. He showed me quickly how it works, gave me a bow and a few aluminum arrows, and then left me alone. I took this bow home, and then I shot wherever I could, in whatever, in sand bales, in whatever. Behind our house we had a stack of wood. I shot in there, lost arrows, broke arrows, missed arrows, and I had really no idea how to shoot, so I did every possible mistake. Whatever, I thought maybe this is okay. The bow was way too heavy, so I ruined even I have an archery muscle here. There's a bump coming out because of my wrong way of shooting, so I did everything wrong. I had no teacher, so I learned everything by myself with these 3 fingers. It was quite a way. In this time there was no YouTube or nothing, and even books in Germany was quite limited, so not a lot of information out. So what could I do? I simply went sometimes to archery places and looked how other people do it, and then I tried to copy it. So I shot this brown bear for a while, and then I had to give it back after a few months, so I had to see that I get my own bow, and I don't remember when it was. At this time I met my girlfriend and future wife, and then obviously I got married, and I didn't have that much time to shoot. But this archery was like a virus, so it never left me. Whenever there was somewhere an event with bow and arrow, I was directly there. I went to bow fairs again and shot sometimes some arrows, on and off, and it took a while until I really got back into, or got really into archery when I really started. So the beginning, 1980, long ago, when I was 15 years old. Then the journey continued. The next milestone in my archery career was then roughly around the year 2000. I started working for a marketing company. We did their stylish houses, so I did the house design, they did the marketing and franchise concept, and the office was directly at a golf course, and we had a small piece of green field back there, and the owner of the marketing company said, "Listen, we do here some team building, coaching, marketing, psychology and stuff like this. We could include archery in our seminars." I said, "You just talk to the right person." So we directly set up a few targets, and then we got some bows. They were Hungarian longbows, interesting ones, quite brutal sticks, but at this time I didn't know. And then we started doing archery there. So that was for me, first of all, quite relaxing, because marketing, always time pressure, quite stressful. And when it's too much, you simply put your phones on the ground. Then I went out, strung a bow, shot some arrows, came back, and everything was just fine again. I simply was back there and shot for myself. And then many people came, even others of the marketing company and from the golf course. And they said, "Oh, yeah, what are you doing here, archery? Oh, it's interesting. Can I try it? Can you show me?" And this was then actually the beginning where I started to teach. I had a few people coming, and I showed them, "So listen here, 3 fingers, you put the arrow on the left side," because I didn't know that anything else existed. "And then you shoot 3 fingers, you point, you draw, and you let go." And people had so much fun, and they loved it. And as usual, you learn when you teach. So I learned a lot because I taught a lot. So in this time I had a few people. So then I stopped working for this company and I had big dreams, I have to admit. They are not easy to achieve, but you need to dream big that you achieve anything in your life. And I went to Mallorca with the idea to open an archery range there. At this time I bought from, I think, eBay a Wings Mongol. It's a pretty nice black recurve bow which had, I don't know, 25 pounds or something. And I think, I don't know where I got my arrows from, so I really have no idea. And I had this longbow still, one of these Hungarian longbows with me. So with these two bows and some arrows, I went to Mallorca and had this idea of I open a archery and business club, like a golf course, but an archery range with a beginner's area, with a cafe, with a meditation part where you can do Tai Chi and meet and have tea ceremony, and then the big archery range. And I had big dreams. I even made plans and designs for like a Chinese monastery. And only when you manage the basic course, so to say, then you get some kind of dress. And only with this dress you're allowed to go to the main range. So everybody is dressed same, everybody is equal, no matter if you're an actor or if you're a mechanic, it doesn't matter, we are all the same. So I had these ideas. Archery and Business Club. The idea was, once you start shooting with someone, the shooting line, this guy directly is your friend. I don't know how to explain it, but when you do archery together, you're directly friends. And then I thought, okay, why not using this trust and relationship to create some good businesses? So that was the idea of the Archery and Business Club in Mallorca. And I did some, Tai Chi, and of course I started Tai Chi 1990 something, and of course even with sword. And I always had this idea that archery and Tai Chi belongs together. Unfortunately, I didn't know how Mallorca works. I only knew it from a few books and stuff like this, and even from the internet, but you don't know how an island or a country ticks. You need to be there. And then I realized that you can't simply rent a piece of land. They all want to sell it, and where I wanted to have the archery range, even a piece of land was whatever, almost $1 million, and you need to pay 10% deposit, and then you have 6 weeks, and if you don't buy it, then you lose your deposit. So I completely was underfinanced for all these big projects, and all the people I spoke with, they were interested, but of course, due to the lack of money, after a year, I had to give up. There were some other negative incidences, and after a year I had to give up. And with my broken wings, but I still had my wings Mongole, I drove home again to my base, which is Regensburg in Bavaria. And I was there and I started picking up my normal business again as a draftsman, designing houses and stuff like that. Then of course you make new friends. When I was back in Regensburg, I met Florian, a nice guy. We had kind of same like Tai Chi and same interests. And then one day I had this vision when I was a little sick that because I do Tai Chi, and I don't know, I had this idea to support the Wudang monasteries in the Wudang mountains where the Tai Chi and the internal martial arts come from in any way. So I thought we have to do something. So we made together the Wudang Foundation. And that was then the starting point for me again, because we did a lot of events and we were at schools and we always showed people, because it's easy, bow and arrow as an internal martial arts, so to say. So we, everywhere we could, we went and we showed the people how to shoot with bow and arrow. So there was when my teaching picked up again and grew a lot again. So we had over, that was 2008 I think. So in this time we had then a lot of people. I was still working as a draftsman in a construction company, and I was responsible for the construction sites that they work properly. And on the other side, I wanted to do archery, so you have you can't put in two things 100%, doesn't work. So I gave up a little of the job and only did this job half day, so from in the morning at 8 until 12, 1 o'clock. So I had the afternoon and evening more for my courses. So this is where all my teaching, giving courses then started, more privately on green fields around Regensburg. Then you simply brought some people there, and it was more for promotion. I did not really make a lot of money with it, but it was simply for the fun and for the love of archery. And then I read somewhere that an archery range in Sylt is looking for an archery instructor full-time. And then I thought, okay, if I don't grab this chance, I will never make it. So I simply got in contact with Peter Beerhorst from Yuksaka. He said, yeah, come, it's a seasonal job, it's summertime job from April to, I forgot, November, September, October, something like this. And I said, yeah, okay. I do this. I drove there and I was there for half a year and we had a blast. It was interesting, very interesting. And at the same time, roughly, I guess, I saw the videos of Stephen Selby, and that was then my big life-changing moment, because with Stephen Selby, first time I saw when he showed the bow on YouTube, I thought, this is how a bow should look like. And then he showed to shoot, you know, first of all, he doesn't use a quiver, so he must look stupid. He had the arrows there, and then he had the arrow on the right side, and he was drawing with the thumb, and I was like, wait a second. I paused the video, grabbed my bow, went out and tried like he said. You know, you put some ping pong balls or golf balls into the soil, and you simply start that you get used to it. So you don't draw fully because your thumb needs to get used to it, and then you get this idea of different pointing at the target, because when you used to shoot Mediterranean, you have the arrow on the left side, you know, you get used to it with your target picture and everything. You have the arrow on the right side, it's totally confusing. So you start like this, and then you build your way up. And that was for me mind blown. I was like a newborn. Once I started then reaching kind of full draw with thumb release, I was like, yes, that's archery. Way more natural, fits way more my motions I have in, you know, in martial arts, in Tai Chi. And I was like, yeah, this is it. So, but of course, I struggled in the beginning, and again, not a lot of teachers around, at least with me, I didn't have any teacher. I had to rely on what YouTube is offering, and at this time there was not a lot. So I had Stephen Selby's videos, I inhaled them, watched them for sure 5-7 times. Then I ordered his book, read the book, which was very interesting. I recommended that everybody should read Chinese Archery by Stephen Selby. Oh, I forgot, my first horse bow I got 2004 or 5. It was from Kashai, a fiberglass, I don't know the name anymore. And with this one I started shooting even then in Regensburg, but first 3 fingers and later thumb release. Had no idea that fiberglass bows, they do like this, that it's not normal. This bow did this, but it's another thing. So I forgot this out, 2004 or 5 I got my first horse bow. Applied for a job as an archery and Tai Chi instructor in Lebanon. Don't ask me how I had this idea. Has personal reasons, and it has a reason that I read something that in Lebanon many kids had still this war trauma from 1990 something they had when America thought they need to invade Lebanon for some reasons. And that the youth is kind of a little, you know, more into alcohol and drugs and whatever. I thought one could see this as an experiment if it works or not. So I applied for this. After this first year in Sylt, I went then for 1 year, for 1 school year to Lebanon, which was a mind-blowing time. There I was full-time teacher, and I had from grade 4 to grade 11 at the German school in Beirut, all students, and it was a mandatory. So on a normal school day on Tuesday at 10 I had grade 5, and at 11 I had grade 6, so they had to participate, and it was totally interesting. Grade 4, good students, really nice to work with them, they really wanted to learn. Grade 5, 6, that was the reason for me to almost give up on archery, because they simply didn't want. And then grade 7, 8, a few good ones, grade 9, 10, 11, really nice again. So they really wanted to learn it. So it was really nice experience. So I really left a piece of my heart in Lebanon, I can say. I still have contacts to a few of my students. When the weather was bad and we couldn't do archery, then we did some Tai Chi and practice and stuff like this. And when the weather was nice, which is in Lebanon almost all year round, then we did some archery again. So we set up with 4 targets, and we got, for training, because it's quite a privileged private school, I ordered from Bearpaw the Kiowa bows in 25 pounds and the Mingos for the kids and carbon arrows, and was no problem. So the school directly invested, I don't know, 7,000-8,000 euros. It was for me a quite challenging experience for when you have people that don't want to shoot, but you still need to keep it safe, and others want to learn. And so there you really grow as a teacher. The director of the school in Lebanon was quite inspiring in the beginning, and he thought, yes, it's an interesting idea, but then things changed there a little to, for me, the negative side, so I did not continue. I wish I could, but the circumstances, I didn't want to continue there, so I stopped working and I went directly from Lebanon back to Sylt, to Peter, because he asked me, he offered me a share of his company and said, listen, let's work together. So I went back there and thought, okay, then let's continue the career there, and was again a lot of fun. We had a lot of people there. The range was always full, especially on the weekends. It was hilarious. So I really sometimes extremely stressful, but you know, at the end of the day you sit there and think, yes, it's just, you know, what you did just, I mean, who on the planet has a job like this? And I was always happy. The summer was over, and September we closed in the range, and October we tidied up everything at the range. And then the weather in Sylt, if you know it, it's almost on the height of Denmark in Europe. So you have a nice summer, but most of the time it's dark, and the sun didn't go up in the morning anymore, and in the afternoon it went down already. So I got a little frustrated, and I thought I will not survive the winter there, because you can't do anything, and all the ones I knew there, they in wintertime they only. So I thought, no, I need to change. And what I liked on Lebanon was the weather. So I thought, okay, island is interesting, like Sylt, because you have even tourists a little more compact together. And I said, okay, let's check on the map. Bing, 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 bing. There would be Italy, it's too big. There would be Sicily, it's quite big, but would have been interesting. But you need to learn Italian. I don't speak Italian. And then I saw, wait a second, down there, what's there? That was Malta. And then I was like, I don't know, I always had this thing with Malta. I was never there. I had no idea how it is. And I saw that the second language is English. And I thought, sounds good, because English, I'm now already after 1 year Lebanon, only talking English, worked quite well. So I booked a one-way ticket to Malta. And I thought, of course, in the beginning, I start in Gozo. It's a small sister island, because it's nicer and greener and quieter. When you don't know anyone, it's already in Malta complicated, but in Gozo you don't go anywhere. So then I had to rent a car, and the guy, it's a small car rental company from Gozo. He came then to my flat, and he saw the bow laying around, said, hey, what's that? I said, yeah, it's archery. I want to open an archery range here in Malta. And said, oh, I help you. He got me in contact with a guy, consultant, and he knew then the guy in Pembroke. So I came to Pembroke, to the Luxor Sport Club. And this guy said, listen, behind our big football pitch, we have this small piece of land. You can use it for archery, payment and arrangement, or whatever we see later. Simply start. So I went there, set up an archery range. I had, I think, 10 shooting lines. And of course, you know, proper targets. So I got first some insulation panels and whatever. But I started in March with my first customers then. And in June 2013, I could already pay my rent and pay my car and gasoline and a little food. So I didn't make money, but at least I could cover my costs with what I made with archery. So it took me 3 months, and it was already running quite well. I did almost everything alone. Then I got the first assistant who worked for me. We had to build some shadings, but we had never an agreement with the Luxor Sport Club. So at one moment in time, it was only a contract by mouth. They said, now you have 4 weeks to leave. And luckily I found the guys from the Malta University residence. They had a green field and they said, yeah, you can have it. And we set up Malta Archery in this place, you know, from all my videos. It was the place, the legendary place where we had then, I don't know, until now 70, 80,000 people showing archery, but mostly 3 fingers. It was easier to teach, and it's for a complete beginner easier to get the hang of archery when you shoot 3 fingers. Then of course I had to do quite some promotion, so even then the embassy, it's a shopping mall and cinema in Valletta, asked me for the Hunger Game movie to do a promotion with bow and arrow. I said yeah, of course. And they wanted to do me in the streets. I said, but in the street we can't shoot bow and arrow in the city, so we need to lock the street. They said we can't lock the street, so we set up outside some small target, and with the safety arrows from combat archery, we let the people shoot there. And they had an empty shop in level -2. And there I said, listen, there you can put a few targets and then we bring the people down. Done deal. I did this for 2 weekends and then asked him, listen, what are you doing with this shop? It's empty since 2 years. And they said, yeah, nothing. I said, listen, let me in. I pay a little rent and you have something which does not exist anywhere, especially in Malta, but I think not even in Europe, to have an archery range in a shopping mall. They liked this idea. They gave me the place for a good rent. Then I set up the indoor range of Malta Archery there. Which was quite successful. So finally I had then a proper shop, and you know, you could sell stuff. And was nice. We had then the outdoor range here in Lea and Valletta. Was quite nice. At this time I had then a few more. I had Andy, who ran the Malta Archery in Lea almost by himself, so I didn't have to care about this, so I was caring about Valletta. And for this I had then Sean, Shed and Michele, and even Claire was working. And there we had really a blast, but after 6 years then they closed the whole building because they rebuilt it and made a cinema and stuff, so I had to leave. In this time I started another small range in Massa Scala, but it's not almost worth mentioning it because it only worked for a few weeks and then they broke in and destroyed all the equipment, so I had to stop there. We had only this outdoor range again, looking for some new indoor range, but the prices in Malta for indoor places are quite beefy, and with archery you don't make that much money. But at least since 2014 I could live from teaching archery. We made of course a lot of new friends. 2006 16 it was then, that shed. One of my instructors, an American, he said, listen, you post sometimes videos on Facebook and they have whatever 60,000 views. If you would put it on YouTube, you would, and monetize them, you would have made whatever, $50 or something. I said, yeah, you know, they need to put it on YouTube and link and blah. I said, yeah, but simply do it. Okay, I listened, and then in this time I had my YouTube channel for a while longer, but I really didn't do anything. And then 6 years ago I started then doing videos more on a regular basis. Even he did then some videos, and we uploaded them on the Malta Archery. And then this idea started off, when you get a bow, that you start that you show the bow and you review the bow. And when you watch my first reviews, they're really hilarious and bad quality camera and audio, and really, but you have to start at the point. When you wait for perfection, you will never start. That's why I simply started doing videos. And when you see how my YouTube channel grew, I just reached 50,000 subscribers. Would have never thought about that. Then I did videos about thumb release, and then people always ask me, listen, would you give courses abroad? I said, yeah, why not? Simply find a place, organize it, I come, and then we give a course. And Stefan, in close to Ravensburg in Germany, was then the first one. He said, okay, done deal. I have a friend, he has a small indoor range and he has a 3D parkour. Come over. And then we had, I don't know, 10 people, 8. They came for this weekend, and we had a lot of fun. The first day we did thumb release properly, and the second day we went out on the parkour and practiced thumb release on the parkour. It was really a blast. It was nice. I did a video, you can check this. And then Uwe Zimmermann, Regensburg, invited me for his new shop opening to give a course there. And I was in, once I had 2 guys here in Malta. They came from the Netherlands, and they said, yeah, we watched your YouTube videos and we wanted to meet you. So we made holidays in Malta, and then they shot with me. And then I said, listen, if you want, I can come to the Netherlands. And they said, what, really? And then they invited me too. So I was in Heerlen in Netherlands and gave a 2-day course. Of course, that was really a blast. It was really nice, guys. You did it very well. And yep, so that was then my new, for me, my new career way, going abroad, giving courses. We had then already the next course in Netherlands, the next course in Ravensburg, a course in Hanover, a course in Austria, 2 courses in Austria, already booked and done deal. But then, you know, what happened to all of us is this weird situation we are in, so I had to cancel everything. And because of giving courses abroad and not being here anymore, I thought it might be the time to hand Malta Archery over. That was beginning of last year. I had this idea that I even wanted to leave Malta, go somewhere else, do some courses and give courses and stuff like this. And one of my instructors, Danny, said yes, he would like to take over, but then COVID happened. So I said, listen, we need to wait and see what will happen, because nobody knows what is going to happen if we open up again or whatever. I opened up for my friends during lockdown, and then the police came. They wanted to fine me 3,000 euros because they saw some photos on Facebook. I said, yeah, fine. Then I went to court, and I said, yeah, listen, go home, not enough evidence, so yeah, screw. I did what I could for my good customers here, because that's me. Some people know me, I'm not very conform with what governments do when you see where their intentions are. This year almost passed by, and November last year was looking, it was getting better here. And then I said to my assistant, Danny, said, so now here, you can have Malta Archery. And I wanted to leave the country, but with all the lockdowns now everywhere, I'm still here in Malta, I'm still shooting at Malta Archery, and now we see, so the future will show. Yeah, and in the time when I was in Lebanon, Carol Cotone from America contacted me. We had a common Facebook friend, and she liked what I did, so she was checking my Facebook profile, and then she had this inner voice telling her, listen, you need to write a book about him. So she asked me if she can write a book about me. I was like, okay, if you want, fine. So then we started sending emails back and forth, because of course she had a lot of questions to know me better, where my history, my background was, my life from beginning to when I started archery. Then I provided her always with daily things that happen with me all the time in personal contacts and helping people in Lebanon. And this is what she brought then in the book The Archer. It's right now not available, but she has now a new publishing company and it will be available very soon. Quite interesting and humbling. 2000. I don't know exactly, 15, 16, 17. There was an online poll somewhere and I was voted as one of the best 30 archery channels on YouTube. I think I made number 5 or something. So only thanks to you subscribers to my YouTube channel. Thanks a lot. Of course, I forgot to mention then, of course, you make a little name. In 2015, Uwe from Traditional Archery Magazine in Germany came to me and said, listen, we want to have a nice article of you in our magazine. So we did this. I was with Fritz, my friend, he's photographer, and Rebecca. We went to a garden, we took some nice photos, and they were published in the magazine. Really nice one, thank you. Later on, when I was in Regensburg with Uwe Zimmermann, I had an interview for the magazine Traditionelles Bogenschießen in Germany. It was nice, it was 2 pages I think or something, an article about moi. Even in a bear paw blog I was once interviewed in between somewhere, I forgot the time now. So you get some kind of reputation because people started liking my bow reviews a lot and asked me, oh, did you shoot this bow? Can you review this bow? And I was like, listen, I make a little money, I can't buy every bow on this planet. And then somebody had this idea, make a Patreon page, and it was 2018, so it's now 3 years. I have now already this Patreon project running and we have, I think, almost 300 patrons. They donate a little money every month, and with this money I am capable of buying more bows, review them, and after the review I give these bows away under the patrons. So that's kind of a nice circle. And later on I started then giving online courses with the Patreon project, but you can check it there. You pay a little more and then you can send me every week your videos and I coach you directly online and give you my point of views on shooting. Yeah, that was my whole history. So, and now we see the plan is to leave Malta. Still, even if I like the weather, look at this, it's t-shirt weather today. I really like the weather here. That was the main reason I came to Malta. And most probably I will go to Austria, to Vienna. That's the plan at least, if this lockdown policy will ever go away. Because it makes no sense to go now to Vienna and stick in quarantine and in lockdowns and you can't do anything. And I don't have to go there, then I'd better stay here and have fun here. So yeah, that's it. That's my journey in archery so far. Quite long when you consider that it started 40 years ago, but there was a gap when I was married. Let's see where we shoot the next arrows. There you have it. I hope it was informative for you or maybe inspiring. If you want to know how I managed everything running this archery range Malta Archery, you can do a separate video where I explain you all the things I did, how to run an archery range, so to say. At least as for me as a full-time job since 8 years. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you in the next one.